of business is our consent agenda. Looks like we have 3 items on that. They can all be heard together, or any member can pull one of those off if you'd like further discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second that.
Brandon, let's vote, please.
Wilson,
Yes.
Boers,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Stevens. Yes. Chair West.
Yes. Agenda item number 2 will be pulled. Item 3 is minor amendments to the comprehensive plan use map. And we have A through H. And I believe we have probably a report from Mrs. Hilton, please. Thanks.
Light for? Oh, hello. This item, first we brought it to you October 14th, 2024, and then I met with a citizen, maybe as I was coming into the meeting or something, and they had some questions. I ended up pulling it. No, we did a full presentation. Ended up pulling it and brought it back to you tonight. There is some text language that I want to bring to you soon, but I wanted to really make sure that I didn't have any additional changes and make sure I identify every one of the pages in the actual comprehensive plan. So we adopted the Horizon Jenks comprehensive plan in 2020, and I was not here for that process, but I was here to get it across the finish line. So when I came in, my first comprehensive plan land use meeting was about periods and commas and just some grammatical things. We did work through the actual map a couple of times before we actually approved it. So with that being said, as you know, the land use map and the comprehensive plan is a fluid document. It was never meant to be codified. It is a guide for the city, and it says, we think at this time the best use for this land in the future, if it develops or if it redevelops, would be X, whether that is single-family residential, commercial, industrial, etc. So if you look on page, I think we'll go to, Brandon, if you don't mind, let's go to page 22 of 68. So the first one that we'll look at, this area is along Highway 75, so it's on the west side, and it is south of 91st Street. The problem we have here, that hard corner is pretty much the end of the infrastructure in that area. There's no, it's Tulsa water, you can't get sanitary sewer. That's where the Jamestown plat is. I think you all probably remember that one. There was one house built out there to date, and they haven't built anything else. It's very challenging to develop. I'm not saying there would never, ever, ever be any infrastructure, but it's very hard to get infrastructure. But if it were to redevelop, we don't see or believe that those lots would be that deep. So what we did was take it down to about what would be equivalent to probably 300 feet, which is kind of a standard lot size for a commercial development. And maybe if someone really wanted to solve the water and sewer and issues, then more power to them. We'll come back and talk about it again. But as for right now, we're asking you all to approve taking out all that red, making it low intensity single family. And then the little portion along Highway 75, changing that from parks and open space to regional commercial. Again, there's no plans in that area. It would be a real challenge to develop anything. The next one is on page 2. That one is east of the railroad tracks and south of the outlet mall. This is part of the property that's owned by the River District and organization. It's been on the maps as a regional development for probably 25 years. I've seen the plans. I wish they did the plans. It's really cool. It has a canal. I don't know if you all know, but I'm very passionate about canals. So beautiful plan, probably will never happen, but I thought we would go ahead and get it teed up for development because we know that that ultimately is going to develop, especially since the city has partnered with Simon Premium Outlets and they have that development there. The infrastructure is coming in and can be extended, so it's a great place to continue regional commercial, and that is the request. Page 3. This one is north of 131st Street, and it's actually on the agenda later tonight. We had previously said, you know what, let's do along 131st Street. It might be a great place for some, it's actually not even along 130, a business park. Yes, it is there. And we thought maybe local commercial, and then we had that high intensity single family. And what we asked at the time, what we were thinking at the time was not actually what was approved in the PUD. And we did say we would come back with a plan amendment. And this tonight is the plan amendment to kind of just right size it to the future of that land. So on the left up there, it says amend from business park to and high intensity single family to medium intensity single family, and this is a little bit further than this actual project here. And then the portion that's kind of an L shape, keeping the local commercial on the hard corner, but amending the additional local commercial from to high intensity single family. So you see those two. Page 4. This one, we've gone back and forth. There's a very, very large home on this property. We've had probably 2 or 3 different developers come in and talk to us about it. It has some challenges. It's another one of those areas that's surrounded on 2 sides, and then a little bit to the north, there's some development. They need extension of some infrastructure, but as of right now, I'm not saying that we would never come back and go back to medium intensity, but we do think that it'll probably develop as low intensity, so I'm just gonna go ahead and ask you to amend that. It's probably more suited for large lots to match the north and the east. But again, if someone found a solution for the challenges, I could support a medium intensity. But as tonight, it's asking low intensity. And then page 5 of 6, amending this area from medium intensity single family to low intensity single family. Same thing, some very serious infrastructure challenges. There are some homes and things in this area already, and there's really no reason to keep it at medium intensity. So going to low intensity there. And then the last one, we already have a development going in at Peoria and 141st, or Elm and 141st, and that is large lots on aerobic systems. And we know that the challenge to get sewer to that area is we're not looking to do that. So this area would probably, if a developer purchased it, would come to you all as large lot with aerobic systems, because we don't see any real practical way to bring the sanitary down or across. It's not coming, and we already allowed aerobic on that hard corner. So it's probably just gonna develop large lots. And that is the last one. The last page is the original plan that was approved and had a couple of markups. But other than that, do you have any questions for me?
That last one, isn't that tract already being developed? The 141st?
Yes.
Is that Pine Ridge?
Yes. I don't even know if there's a pine tree out there.
It has 0 trees, if that's what it's called.
No. I'm always curious about the names of subdivisions. I've heard everything from we just picked it out of a hat, saw a sign on a street when we were traveling in another country, to it's a family member. All of it. Anything could be the name. We don't know.
Kind of, what's the thought process on that very first one, to take that from parks and open space to regional commercial? It can't can't really tell how large that is, but, I mean, if it's extremely difficult to develop, what's kind of the thought process?
One of the things was, there's no reason for it to be regional commercial. Is that the portion you're really thinking about, or the parks and open space?
That long strip of open.
Okay,
Yeah.
we rezoned a lot a couple of years ago to commercial in that area. The city purchased it and rezoned it, and it does not match the comprehensive plan. So that was one purpose, is to better align the zoning with, the comprehensive plan with the current zoning. And I think that was really it, just trying to, we've talked internally about it, would that ever develop? No. And then we're like, well, what if someone wanted to do, like, I don't know. Have you ever been to Broken Bow? Like, there's a beautiful pecan farm there that maybe it could be something really extraordinary and kind of commercial oriented, but anyway, we don't know. Just lots of ideas, no plans.
Any other questions for Mrs. Hilton? All right, we'll go and open the floor. Does anybody in the audience wish to speak on this? Anybody in the audience? Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the floor, and we can entertain a motion on item number 3.
I move to approve the staff's recommended approval of the minor amendments to the land use plan.
Second.
Brandon, let's vote, please.
Wilson,
Yes?
Boers,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yep.
Chair West.
Yes. Agenda item number 4 is JZ 25 PUD 146 MA2. I had a question about that description there. MA stands for major amendment.
Yes, sir.
What abbreviation do you use for minor amendment?
MI.
MI?
Yes.
MIA or just
Just
MI2?
MI.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a request for a zone change from CS Commercial Shopping to RS3 Residential Single Family and approval of Major Amendment 2 for PUD 146 overlay. General location is north of 131st Street and west of Elm Street. And I believe this was tabled from our previous meeting, right? Until we could see more of an amenities package. Is that what's before us up here?
Yes, there was an amenities package included, but that has changed a little bit because the applicant wants to include the middle piece and the southern piece in the same amenities package. So the amenities package is correct in the packet, but it would include another park, which is not included in the packet, and it would include some changes so that the residents on the southern portion, which we'll call the southern portion, I guess, it changes the accesses so that they have better access to the northern amenities.
Has anybody had opportunity to look at this on the commission? You tried?
I think maybe my questions were a little bit of, I wish I could see what it was and how it changed a little bit more. I had a hard time trying to figure out where it went, what it went from to this. I don't recall.
Well, in reality, what you received in the packet, you wouldn't have seen until tonight in the exhibits that I left you here, where I marked up, and you thought maybe my my helpers marked it up. But yes, so basically, the applicant presented us with the original amendment and the amenities package came after our September hearing, so you all got that in your packet. And then I received today the most updated site plan with the call out for the park area. Brandon, did you pull it up? Oh, okay. Yes, it's with this today's date. So it's up to you. They're present here, and I can go through it with you if you want, or it's up to you. You can ask for more time, whatever you think is most appropriate.
Maybe I'll get a few more informational pieces with the applicant.
Okay.
Might be helpful.
You good with that, Ray?
What's that?
Go ahead and
Yeah.
see if we can muddle through this tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you want me to go first, or do you just want to turn it over to them?
You can probably add some initial
Okay.
thoughts for us. That'd be great.
Sure.
Thank you.
So this is a major amendment number 2. When you all approved PUD 146, there were 3 development areas, and 1 was defined, and the other 2 were left blank. And you all agreed to approve it, knowing that we would require a major amendment. The reason that that was acceptable is because a major amendment is the exact same notification process. It would require new information in the PUD, but the public would receive the same notice and everything. So it made sense that they have the whole area at that time under contract, and they wanted to develop it in phases. So the northern portion of PUD 146 sold first. So the developer sold it to who you all know as Crossvine. So that one became a private gated community, and we had to do a major amendment. So that was major amendment number 1. And then we had the guts of the PUD was for the middle portion, and then major amendment number 2 is for the southern portion. So if you look on page 30 of your packet, it talks about major amendment number 2, and it kind of just details exactly what I just said. There's the 3, Crossvine is the middle, and then major amendment number 2 is what we're looking at. One of the big changes was the commercial area at the time of approval was imagined to be, it was all commercial shopping, and it would have allowed for multifamily. And the big change now is that the commercial, we're specifically asking for commercial to be kind of along the corridor there, with a change from multifamily to RS3. And so high-intensity single-family would be 12 of the 20 acres of the hard corner, and 2 4-acre plots adjacent to the arterials there, and secondary arterial would stay commercial. So that is quite a significant change. So originally it was imagined that multifamily would buffer between the commercial and the single-family, but they're asking to allow for a high-intensity single-family. And that is kind of laid out for you there on page 30. If you want to go to page 31, that's really where the guts of all of it is. And I went through my own, so phase 1, I call the middle piece, and that was the original PUD. And that's what the amenities package in your packet represents, because we said, hey, bring back your amenities package during plating. So phase 2 was Crossvine, and then phase 3 was the hard corner, and part of it is commercial shopping, and part of it, if approved, would be RS3. And in the PUD standards, in that yellow box, everything in that first column, nothing changes. It's exactly as it was originally in the PUD. They didn't ask for anything different from what you had already approved for the other section. So if you go on down, so in that area, phase 1 would have allowed for up to 154. They almost never quite get that yield, but they asked for 154 homes. And in this phase, which would be phase 3, and the hard corner, and there was about 57 homes for a little over 200 homes in that general area. And they have very similar development standards, but one is a little higher density. If you look on page I'm going to skip probably to the PUD. There's really no pages, or no changes, until you get to, I tried to look at the original PUD and this one. Basically, the biggest difference is rezoning that hard corner part of it to RS3 and taking out the allowed use of multifamily and making it single-family, high-intensity. So that's the biggest difference. You want to go, I don't really think I have anything else in the PUD to point out. The applicant may have something they want to point out. But that's it. Do you have those documents, Brandon? Did you find them? You can actually, while you're looking for them, can you show something while you're looking for them? Probably not. It's okay. If you can find the documents, that'd be great. We won't look at this one. We'll look at the next one. If you all want to pull the exhibit out that I gave you, this is from the applicant. And then you can also look, this might help you, Amy, with your question. Did you have a question?
Robert speaking.
Oh. If you look on page 47 of your staff report or of your packet, and you sit that beside the exhibit that's on your desk, you can see the difference in the changes in the two neighborhoods. So originally, there was one access off of 131st Street, and then it tied in up to the north, but there wasn't actually a street in that location. You can keep that one up, Brandon. I'll just talk through it. So what they've agreed to do is they took away that 131st Street exit, knowing that the commercial enterprise is also going to want an access off of 131st Street. So the residential access goes away. There's a shared access coming from the original middle development that they will share. And then it goes into the development after you get about 2 lots in. You can make a right and go into phase 2. And then that one also, that same street gives you access to the commercial area. And then you go on. And so I've circled that. So they ended up losing a lot, or it goes away where they get a lot. And then it goes north, and then they lined up the lots over there with or actually in the middle phase, they lined up a street to connect going south into phase 3. We should have given them names. Would have been a lot easier. So that is why I circled those pages. So Exhibit D is the one that you can actually compare easily, is this drawing with this drawing. Yeah, that one's pretty easy too, but you can't see where it connects with the other one. Can you put both of them side by side, Brandon? Huh? D with, there you go. No, yes, no. No, that's not the right one. Brandon, in my folder, you can keep that one open because it's a better version than Exhibit D. There's a one that has a date. Is that it? That's okay. Thank you. There we go. But you can, okay, now can you zoom into, that's fine. There you go. Yeah, they wanted to see the comparison from the original plan to the new plan. So you can see that the residential development there were 2, one for phase 1 and one for phase 2. And they took away, can I see the mouse, Brandon? So here was the original, this is the original access point for the middle phase. And then when they came in the PUD, they said, and this was phase 2, and we're gonna come in here. So when we met, we said, we really don't want 2 residential accesses off of this street. And we also know that there's gonna be additional requests for access over here. So what they did is they did away with that access down here. So there's 1 residential access, you come up, and then ultimately there will be access into the commercial from the backside. You can come on up here, you have a second access to the second commercial area. And then if you go straight north, this takes you right into your amenities area. And what they did, you can see here, they moved that over because in this document, that street does not exist. So they show you in this exhibit that you got tonight that there is an additional street.
When you put on your planner's hat, Marseille, do you like this?
It's a huge improvement. I think
Yeah.
I'm really pleased with the extra work that they did. It's a lot better.
And the playground looks cool.
Yes, I'm
guess that's-
happy with the amenities.
Yeah. And they are in the, where do they go on there? They're in the middle, right?
Yeah, yes.
So they're not on, they're,
I'll let
They're-
Brendan
they're up.
grab again.
that's fine.
There's, I can
up.
show you, there's one playground right here. So that was something additional that they added. I said, I think that they need something in the southern portion of the subdivision. So they did add 1 lot. They took a lot and made a playground, and I also appreciate that. I think that's very thoughtful of the residents there, so that if you don't have, taking a hike up north is great, good exercise, but if you only have 20, 30 minutes, it's better to have something very close.
So am I reading it correctly that there's only 1 access into the commercial space? And I'm just kind of trying to envision the commercial traffic and/or vice.
They don't show any access off of the arterials yet. That's to be determined where they would
Okay,
exactly be.
But I meant, I'm sorry, from the neighborhood into the commercial, is there 2?
There are 2.
Okay. So would there be that possibility of commercial traffic, like leaving and going back through the
There could be.
using the neighborhood to traverse to some other, okay.
It
I'm just
gets,
wondering how
it's a
that-
two-edged sword. It's better to be able to not have to go out to the arterial. If you live in those neighborhoods, you don't want to go out to 131st and then back up to get to your nail salon or your barber shop or your sandwich shop. It is better if you can access it from your neighborhood, but that also means that Mr. West, who doesn't live in this neighborhood, may drive out of that little commercial corner and go through your neighborhood. But he's going to be very respectful of the laws, and you will not, you will not be a problem whatsoever. So, I prefer, from a planner's perspective, to have a connection. I think it is much better planning. And they're going to know in advance that that is a possibility. They're going to be able to see that, oh, hey, I can go straight over here to get X, Y, and Z, or, oh, whoa, everybody over there is going to come here. And that'll be their decision to make if they want to live in that situation.
And then also, what am I missing here in regards to the previous layout, how that was multifamily versus this being single-family? It doesn't look like multifamily on the previous map.
No, there was never multifamily drawn in. When they came back, it was always to rezone and do high intensity single family. So we never saw, we just had a block there, a blank block. Right, it looks the same.
Any other questions for city staff?
I think maybe just a comment about the park being right there where the commercial entrance back and forth. I don't know, maybe I'm making something out of nothing, but it's just kind of odd to me to have the entrance to the commercial space back and forth out of the neighborhood with I mean, I don't know if that would increase traffic or not with it being a park, like a small playground or something right there. I'm just thinking about that.
That's a good thought. I don't have mine.
Probably depends a lot on what type of commercial goes in there and what the layout is, where the parking is, you know. The park gets on the front side, it may be more apt to come just in and off the main street rather than go through the neighborhood. Okay.
That is true.
Does the applicant want to come up?
Of course.
I have a question. Why did we just get this today?
So we had the amenity package
Yeah.
for some time and we shared it. And then we communicated since then. And then we've gone back to them and updated it as we've gone. So so she's had that for a couple of weeks. But we've updated it all along and they've hired professionals to do that. So we were against giving them the package and getting it back to us. I think the latest round was the fences. We showed I think the fences are in there that we put on 131st. Remember, on Elm Street, this development is really impacted by the creek that's in that location. So there's a large reserve area to the north that'll be open space and water and so we visualized the fencing along Elm Street in that location will be more like your Wakefields. So it's open, and you can see through it, and you can see the ponds, and you can see that. Over on 131st, those fences are on the amenity plans. Let me kind of explain the history of this, and I think it'll help you understand where we were at and where we're going. So when we came in with the original PUD in 3 phases, we all understand that. And so at the time, the comprehensive plan, the Jenks comprehensive plan, said that 12 acres of this was high intensity, single family residential. And 8 acres of it was commercial. So we had no idea what we were going to do with the commercial at that point, and we didn't really have an idea of what we could do with a high-intensity single-family residential development because it doesn't exist in the zoning code. The most density you can get in a single-family development is RS3. Well, RS3 is a 50-foot wide lot at a maximum or at a minimum at that point. So that threw us all off when it first come in at that point. And so we just called it all CS because we were going to do something with it. We didn't know what we were going to do with it and move forward. So we kept the 8 acres of commercial, and that's what you got. You got 4 acres along Elm Street, and you got 4 acres along 131st, and the 12 acres. We checked with multifamily developments. We checked with neighbors out there, and nobody seemed to want it. Not even the multifamily wanted to come in there. So we were kind of gone back to the way to fix this is to apply for really the same development that is the rest of the neighborhood. all the way to the north. Those lots are the exact same. The only thing that we've asked for is that exterior roads, exterior sidelines be allowed 10-foot setback instead of 15. That's really the only difference in the PUD. And that's because if you got a 50-foot lot and you take 15 feet off of it, you make it difficult to get to the proper house at that point. So that was, and I believe that's the same criteria that the rest of the developments are. So what we've really done is we've extended the development that was to the north to include all of this land and kept the 8 acres of commercial. Now, the commercial development is a little, I'll call it retro, and Marseille will probably laugh at me for that. But the idea is we want the buildings, because we don't want a lot of accesses on Elm Street and we don't want a lot of accesses on 131st, we could probably get to one on 131st, maybe two on Elm. At that point, it's got to be, I think the code talks about 600 feet away from the intersection for the access point. That means that traffic circulation between those commercial properties and between those commercial businesses that are located in there has got to be on site. So we got to bring the traffic in, and we got to have enough room in front of these buildings that we can have traffic circulation that flows all over the commercial at that point. And so that's what the setup is, and that's why we've got it sitting in the back. Now, when I looked at what Marseille had in there, she didn't like, I had an easement area behind the buildings, and that the same as a fire drive, a fire lane at that point. She didn't like that, and I agree. So that needs to be addressed in the platting process, and so those two criteria behind buildings, we don't really need to address, and we can take that out of the PUD at that point, because that we're going to have to address what the fire department wants to, how they get around in buildings, and we're going to have to address how to get utilities all the way across. So we do that in the plat. This is more or less kind of the old structure where the UDO is trying to get parking behind and buildings out front. Well, you can't do that here. You've got to have traffic out front on this, because if you don't, then you're going to force the traffic to go on to Elm Street. And we don't want that. We don't want that interaction at that point. So the idea is that these lines between these buildings can be zero lot line, and the buildings can be all one structure, and different ownerships within that one structure. So that's kind of what the commercial is set up to be. I brought up the fact that I didn't like to park that close to 131st, because I thought that people off 100, me, it wasn't commercial, it was just traffic on 131st could see the park and pull in and park, because I think it'll have parking spots associated with it. So the other option is in the far northwest corner, that lot that's over there right at the end of that kind of a hammerhead location. We talked about it going in there, but it's probably better located further to the south, because there's the dog park, there's other amenities that are located on the properties to the north. And again, we've got a lot of open space in this development. And on top of that, there's a detention facility that's next to that open space. And that detention facility will have walking trails on it. So all that's located to the north. And we will combine these neighborhoods to be in the same HOA. So they all have a right to share all of it at that point. So
Thank you, sir. Any questions for the applicant?
Hey, Robert, where else in Jenks do we have a neighborhood exiting through commercial? I just scoured Jenks, I can't find one.
I don't know that it exists at that point.
So our planners maybe that came before Marseille didn't like that idea or just never been presented?
It just never, we never had nodes that were that big. When you look at Wakefield nodes, and you look at the Churchill nodes, and when I'm talking nodes, I'm talking the 5-acre commercial nodes that we had on corners that was designed. Those were limited all the way through. When you're talking about Churchill, you're talking about the car wash. Walmart gets close to that. If it wasn't, there's actually a road in the back of the Walmart that goes into the commercial, but it doesn't get used. It's more of a emergency type access at that point. It just didn't lend itself to be before this corner, 8 acres together at that point. So I would say the closest we got is out at South Lake Villas, and we have that development exiting through an office park. So Simmons owns the office parks along Elwood.
But the road goes straight out.
There is a road that splits that office park in half.
So do you think something like that's gonna be in this? It's just gonna come, because it looks like to me, I mean, because I can't vision it, I guess. Looks like it's gonna be commercial and maybe they just go through a parking lot, or is there actually gonna be a road there?
It won't be a road, it'll be more or less a parking lot, my guess. But again, as I said, these roads between these commercials and the connection in this has gotta promote the circulation between on those commercial lots.
So is this gonna get done before the other section outside of it? Or is that,
No, the middle section will be done first, yes.
and another question I had, so this park area you got, I'm glad that you put a park in there, but do you have any concerns about it getting overran by the commercial area?
Well,
Because to me, it looks like if I was in this neighborhood and part of the HOA, I think it'd be very hard to keep people that are getting their nails done and their kids going over to that park or whatever neighborhood. So I think that's not a great place to put the park.
So I actually brought that up.
Yes, yeah.
And I said the best lot out here would be in the far northwest corner of this lot at the end of that hammerhead, because the hammerhead's a little different. We don't see a lot of that in Jenks. And I said, if you put it at the end of the road, then we could put parking at the end of that street for the park at that point. So that'd be a good location. So we talked about that, and we don't have a problem moving it there if that's.
I've been part of HOA, and that's just something I guarantee that would be a problem, is keeping people out of their park. And then having easy access, unfortunately, to kids and being able to get gone on out of there.
I actually didn't think about the commercial, but I was thinking about 131st, because people can see the park from 131st and they'll just pop in.
Any other questions for Mr. Bell? Thank you, sir. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak? All right, we will go ahead and close the floor. I too much prefer moving that park to another part of that neighborhood. I think that's a great idea, a great point that Amy and Craig brought up for multiple reasons that were discussed. Further discussion or motion on number 4?
So we're looking at, with conditions of moving the park. I would make a motion to approve JZ 25 PUD 146.MA2 with the condition of moving the playground. Make a motion to approve with that condition.
I'll second that.
Brandon, let's vote, please.
Wilson,
Yes.
Boers,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Chair West.
Yes. Other business planning update?
We'll get the calendar emailed to you. I was gonna have it tonight and I forgot, and I think Mr. Macy also forgot. Get that scheduled. We'll probably stay with the first Thursday of the month for our
Hey,
planning
can I ask
commission.
a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Just to make sure we don't get in a problem, on number 4, it says JZ 25 PUD.
Yes, sir.
And then inside here, it says JZ 24 PUD.
Oh, this,
It's
we
fine.
won't get in trouble.
I just want to
for
make
it.
It's
sure
fine.
we had.
Thank you for that.
that
It's
right?
me. I don't know which
Whichever it
ones.
It's 25.
The 25 does not get, it's not part of the ordinance or advertising. It's just, is it as part of the? I stand corrected.
It is, but
Peacock never
it's
uses
not a
them.
big deal.
She said 25, so.
It is 25, yeah. It's correct. You are correct. I'll get your calendars out to you. So currently, we have planning commission the first Thursday after the first council meeting. And as of right now, we'll keep it that way unless you all have a different preference. We'll send you out the calendars via email. The downtown master plan, we've got some comments back from Beck Design on the library lot. So really excited to kind of dive into those, looking for some times to, we have some internal conversations to have. That one really, we've had the information finalized for several months now. But then we jumped into the ranch, and that meant that I had to stop working on the downtown master plan and do the ranch. And so we've got the ranch information back. I've gone through my first revision of the draft that was sent to us by TSW. And looks great. Very excited about the ranch information and data that we collected. So both of those will probably be hitting the public about the same time. So very excited about both of them. And we have Pure Foods is opening up, so that's exciting. Make sure you go downtown and shop and dine at our, coffee. The coffee place is open now, and the Dwell rebranded. I think it was the Wooden Toolbox. They rebranded to Dwell. Can't think of anything else. So lots of fun things happening on Main Street. So keep coming.
All right, thanks, Ms. Hilton. We'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 6:51.